Welcome everybody to my driver ratings for the 2025 Formula 1 Austrian Grand Prix. If you don't know, every single Monday after a Grand Prix weekend, we hop on my Twitch stream and we review everything from the weekend. The highlights, the driver reactions, F1 Fantasy, F1 Predict. We look at Discord and stuff like that. And then at the end of the stream, we hop on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok to do my driver ratings. Now, what we do is we go in reverse finishing order of the race, go through each driver, talk about how their race was, and give them the rating out of 10. There'll be polls up in chat. Last week they were broken, they're fixed. So this week, up in chat, you can vote on the poll of who you think, of what you think you want to rate them. Now, keep in mind, everyone rates differently. How I rate purely off of performance. So I don't look at biases in sense of or they're a rookie or they're experienced or anything like that. I look purely at the performance and I look at both qualifying and the race. I take the whole weekend as not practice sessions, but I take the whole, both competitive sessions, or if it's sprint weekend, all competitive sessions into account. So let's get into it. First driver in last place, we have got Carlos Sainz, a stinker of a weekend, but the poll is up in chat. There you go. So this is what the polls are going to look like. You have the question, and then you've got all the options to vote for, and all you have to do is type in Twitch chat what you want to vote out of 10. So if you're on YouTube or TikTok, come over to the Twitch stream and type in chat what you want to vote for, and then let me know after you type in chat why you voted for that rating. Now, straight away, I'm not even going to rate Sainz. I'm going to give him an inconclusive because it is impossible to rate his performance this weekend. I mean, obviously, if I'm to give a rating out of 10 for his result, it's a fucking 1. Yeah, to quickly go through what happened to Sainz this weekend. In qualifying, he damaged his own floor. Now, that's his fault. He damaged his own floor. He lost complete balance of the car. That is his fault. But then he couldn't finish Q1 because he gave himself damage. And then in the race, he didn't even get to start the race because of a mechanical failure. So he gets an inconclusive. Not his fault he didn't start the race. If I was to rate him, though, purely based off of his qualifying, it would be a low rating. He gave himself damage, and it meant he was not able to make it through to Q2 when he should have. So, yeah. But I am giving him a inconclusive. DNS, not DNF. Yeah, true. I probably should have wrote DNS there instead of DNF. You're right. Actually, I think I usually write DNF. No, I write DNF if it was their fault. Like they crashed on a formation lap. Yeah, I should have wrote DNS there. My bad. My bad. Mine. Buy me Red Bulls. Danger Boy. Thank you guys for the follows. We're on the stream. You are biased. Stop lying. You're a Max Verstappen fan. Are you still angry with Antonelli? Okay, those are some nice comments to read. I am a Max Verstappen fan, but I wouldn't say I am biased towards him. But, I mean, that's your opinion, I guess. Am I still angry at Antonelli? I mean, I was never angry with Antonelli. It's just, it was a dumb move that ruined my driver's race. You know what I mean? That one gamer kid, FH Games. What's up, guys? We're on the stream. Max Verstappen above the stream as well. Anyways, I'm going to give Carlos Sainz an inconclusive. We're going to move on because there's not really much more to talk about. Majority of you giving him a 1. Yeah, I think you guys would probably also give him an inconclusive, but yeah, that's not an option on the poll. Can't rate Sainz at all. The car didn't work in race or quali. I mean, quali was his fault, but yeah. Verstappen wouldn't fit at Aston Martin at all, for example, getting forced by Lawrence to say good things about that. Yeah, true. Disappointing qualifying and then unfortunate race start. Slightly under average under average because of all the issues he had in the car. He also lost brakes in quali already. Wait, did he lose brakes in quali as well? But yeah, the stability he had in quali was really bad. What do you think would happen to Red Bull after Max leaves? A rebuild phase? It would have to be a rebuild phase. I mean, they've got great young drivers in Yuki, Hadra, and Liam, and Arvid, but they just need to find which one they want to build it around or just build a solid team. I mean, look at VCARB. Like, VCARB could generally just be Red Bull, right? Like, they're getting solid results, but they're just not in the mix at the front. But yeah, anyways, that's the story. That's the conversation for another day. Let's focus on rating these drivers. All right, next up, Kimi Antonelli. Yikes. All right, polls up. Get your votes in. What do you rate Kimi Antonelli out of 10? Yeah. So, qualifying. He made it through to Q3, which is obviously expected for the Mercedes. But he got out-qualified by Russell by 5/10. So, very disappointing in comparison to his teammate. And then in the race, very bad mistake. Look, I get it. He's a rookie. Mistakes happen. I'm not cool. I don't think he's a shit driver. I don't think it's anything more than a mistake. But he made the mistake. It was a bad mistake. He took out a driver and completely misjudged his braking. Came in way too hot. Yeah, at the end of the day, I think this has to be probably one of the lowest ratings you can get. At least he wasn't... Look, put it this way. I'm giving him a 2. I think 1 is reserved for you crashing a shit in qualifying and you crashing your shit in the race. Thankfully, he didn't crash. He was slightly shit in quali, but he didn't crash and he wasn't that shit. So we're going to give him a 2. But yeah, it was a terrible weekend for Kimi. You know, especially coming off of a triple header where you're very unlucky, you need to be on it. And again, mistakes happen, but it doesn't mean that he's going to get a good rating. Again, we're not giving the rookie benefit of the doubt. Did you see the video F1 posted of Liam and Fernando chatting, laughing and smiling? Cured all the hate. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, drivers are going to be angry at each other. It's competitive, but then they'll be chill afterwards, you know? Crizzy and Rins, thank you guys for the follow as well on the stream. To be honest, I've seen your vids and you're not biased, so I appreciate that. Carlos is your fave. What's up, Juice? Can't rate him as he didn't complete a lap, but obviously not great for his big mistake. Well, I mean, he didn't complete a lap because it was his fault, so you kind of, you know, you can rate him because it was his fault. 3, the mistake in the race really brings him down. The car has problems with the heat, as we saw the Merc speed go down in quali. Poor quali and rookie mistake at lap 1. You can't fully blame, as he said, that his rear's locked, and when he tried to fix it, his front's also. Yeah, I don't think there's much more to say about Kimi. Pretty stock standard. Kimi eat too much pizza. What? Is that racist? Is it racist to say to an Italian he eats too much pizza? Anyways, all right, majority of you guys saying 2 for Kimi. All right, we agree on that. Next up, we have got Kimi Antonelli's victim, Max Verstappen. What do you guys rate Max Verstappen out of 10 on the poll? Get your votes in. I think this is the earliest I've ever had Max Verstappen on the fucking on the driver ratings list. I don't remember ever having him this low. Are you roasting in the UK too? Yeah, I got my aircon on and it's still like 28 degrees in my room, especially with 2 PCs on. I am dying right now. Yeah, so Max Verstappen in qualifying, he qualified P7. He wasn't able to get a qualifying lap in. Sorry, he wasn't able to finish his qualifying lap because Pierre Gasly fucked up, which meant he was only able to do P7. Who knows where he would have been? Maybe in the top 3. We don't know. And then in the race, he got taken out by Kimi Antonelli. So I have to give Max an inconclusive. You cannot rate him. Nothing happened. The whole both qualifying and the race, he didn't do anything wrong. Like, he might have qualified well, but we don't know because of Gasly. And in the race, maybe he would have raced well. We don't know. So you have to give him inconclusive. But still, obviously, we're going to chat about him. No rating. 5. What's up, Rin Mugo? What's up, Cheese and Crackers? 6, like super mid, worst weekend, average quali. Yeah, you can obviously rate him based off of the result, but off of performance, I mean, he was just fucked over, wasn't he? Max, a difficult one, didn't get a lap in quali, then decent start, but taken out in the race. 3, poor quali, which led him to be in the middle pack. Yeah, but that wasn't his fault though. That wasn't his fault. He could eat anything, just burn it off at his age. Can't rate him, not his fault. I'll say Max is a 5, but his high standards, he deserves a 3. His first Q3 lap was poor. You reckon his first Q3 lap was poor? I mean, it wasn't great, but still, it was a banker at the end of the day. You either rate Kimi and Max or rate neither. No, I disagree. Kimi, no. Max got fucked by Gasly's. Oh, wait, I forgot. Sorry. Coming back to Kimi real quick. I criticized Kimi for being 5/10 off Russell. I forgot that was Gasly's fault. My bad. But you can rate Kimi because it was his fault. Max, it wasn't his fault. So you give Max an inconclusive. Kimi deserves to be rated. Yeah. Obviously, that's why we rated him, because he fucked up. Max, no. Quali is partially his fault. He could have done a better first lap like Leclerc. Yeah, I guess there's the argument there. He could have done a better banker, absolutely. But we ranked the qualifying laps, and I mean, he got. I always do that with drivers. They got fucked over on their final lap. So, yeah. And usually I would rate him, but then he got fucked over on the first lap as well. So, yeah. Darcy, thank you for the follow. Did I thank that already? I don't know. But thank you for the follow. Anyways, yeah, not much more to really say about Max. He got fucked over. Is the championship hopes over? What do you guys think? Honestly, my hopes for the championship have dwindled after Spain when he just threw away 9 points for no reason. But yeah, majority of you guys saying 4. But yeah, not much more really to say about Max. Oh my god, I'm boiling hot. Yep. It's over, dunzo. Been over, but yeah. Performance of the car put Max in the position to be crashed. He qualifies better than 6. He doesn't DNF. Sully, what's up, dude? On the stream. It ain't over. Oh no, 100%. It ain't over till it's over, but mathematically, it's looking very unlikely. All right. Next up, Alex Albone. I always say their name's dumb. What do you guys rate Max? Sorry, what do you rate Alex? Oh my god. What do you rate Alex out of 10? Oh my god, what is happening to my shit? Alright. So Alex in qualifying, he managed to get P12. I think that's probably where the Williams was expected to qualify. I mean, the Williams is on such a high pedestal at the moment that maybe you could argue he could have scraped into Q3 with Bortoletto and Liam and Gasly, but I don't know, I think it qualified where he should have. It's not great quality, but it's decent. And then in the race, he was just kind of trundling around, and then his car broke down. He did enough laps for us to kind of know, though. If I go back in the VOD, where was he before he retired? Oh, he was actually chilling. He was actually quite high. Oh, wow. No, he's actually having a good race, wasn't he, until he retired? He was actually chilling deep into the top 10. So, yeah. Yeah, I know it's hard to rate because, again, like, his quali was mid and his race didn't get the full... we didn't get to see his full race, but I don't know. I'm thinking maybe just like a 5 or a 6. Like, I feel like he was doing good. But, like, it wasn't anything too stand out. Maybe 5.5. We'll go with 5.5. Slightly above average, but overall just, like, a very mid-weekend and not able to see his full potential. So, yeah. I think Sunny Hayes wins in Madrid. Hell, yeah. Shout out Sunny Hayes. Ren Mugo, David the Follow. Alex was doing well until the car fucking gave up on him. Yeah. He put the car where it belonged in quali, made some overtakes in the race and retired. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, actually, maybe he deserves a 6. I'll go with a 6. That's fair. That is fair. Actually, he was running for points in a dwindling Williams, and then the car gave up. Yeah, he's actually doing well. You're right. Opinions on the F1 movie if you watched it. I really enjoyed it. I give it an 8 out of 10. I think there's a lot of problems from the sporting standpoint, but I was entertained, and I think it's going to be good for the sport and bringing new people in. So, yeah. All right. Poll. Majority of you guys saying 5. All right, we move on to the first of the finished drive. Oh, fuck. We move on to the first of the drivers who finished the race. We have got Yuki Tsunoda. What do you rate Yuki Tsunoda's weekend out of 10? Silly Croup. Griff Fart. Thank you guys for the follows. Never understood why is Apex team still doing this. Isn't the F1 movie finished? That's a fake social media account, by the way, if you're talking about the Apex social media accounts. Anyways, what do you rate Yuki Tsunoda out of 10? So Yuki, he had a horrid weekend, didn't he? He qualified P18, purely just down to his pace, as far as I'm aware, right? P18, he was... Actually, to be fair, he was only 2 tenths off of Max Verstappen in Q1. But those 2 tenths cost him going out in Q1, and Max made it all the way through to Q3. So, yeah. Look, at the end of the day, this is the tough thing about rating Yuki every single week, right? Is we know that this isn't Yuki's fault. It's the car's fault. But we do have to rate purely based off of his performance. And his performance in this car is not good at the moment. In the race, he finished in last, 2 laps down. He had a collision with Franco Colapinto. It was a very bad weekend. It was a very, very poor weekend. He did a nice switchback. But yeah, very, very poor weekend. Look, at least he didn't crash, but I'm giving it a 2.5. He didn't crash, which is good for Red Bull standards, but he did have the collision with... Actually, no, probably a 2. He did have a collision with Franco, didn't he? So we're going a 2. It's just another horrid weekend for the second Red Bull driver. Yuki Tsunoda, where do you even start? I mean, if I could give him a -0, I would. The second seat is shit, but he didn't help himself by playing in 4, so yeah, it's true. Awful. Bad quality, crash into Stroll and Colapinto and slow all around. I forgot he had the collision with Stroll as well. Oh my god. Never understood. Wait, I read that. Sup Pyro Sirius on the stream. Yeah, I don't really have much more to say about Yuki. 2 is very generous. Yeah, I guess. But 1's reserved for drivers who crash, and at least he didn't crash out from the race, right? right? Albon was massively helped by Antonelli and Max's crash. Yeah, true, true. All right, when the poll there, majority of you guys saying 2. It's kind of hard to talk about some of these back marker drivers right now. Or backfield drivers. All right, moving on. Next up, we have got Franco Colapinto. Now, you might be angry what he did to Piastri, but don't let that affect his rating too much. But if you're just tuning in the stream, guys, we're doing driver ratings. We do this every single Monday after a Grand Prix weekend. If you're watching on TikTok or YouTube right now, come join us on Twitch. That is where you can type in chat to have your votes added to the poll. And if you are watching on Twitch, all you got to do is type the number in chat and it will pop up on the poll. Yeah, anyways, Franco Colapinto, he qualified P14. He got out-qualified by Gasly in Q2 by 4/10. So, yeah, pretty disappointing Q2, to be honest. But still, he made it through to Q2, but I guess that's maybe where the Alpine is expected to qualify, especially when his teammates making Q3. And then in the race, I think he lacked a lot of pace, right? He finished, to be fair, he finished 5 seconds down on Gasly after getting taken out by Tsunoda. So I think he's actually had a pretty decent race pace in that sense. But yeah, obviously I might, I'm going to minus a point for what he did with Piastri. That was just silly. I mean, from a performance standpoint, it doesn't really affect it, but his awareness was just absolutely poo-poo. But yeah, I honestly don't think Colapinto had that bad of a qualifying, and I think his race pace was actually kind of decent, if I'm being honest. But it just didn't really mean much in the grand scheme of things. I think Alpine were just like super duper off the pace this weekend. So I'm going to give Franco a 4. I think he was weaker than his teammates, so it's a below average weekend, but yeah, I think he wasn't that bad, so we'll give him a 4. Sup F Gullet. It's Galoppies. What's up, guys? We're on the strip. How did he end 15 with 4 DNS when he started 14? Yeah, it's true, actually. That's actually quite bad. Yeah, though getting overtaken by a random guy in last laps was somewhat of an L. He also forced off Ocon, if you remember the post-race show. Oh, yeah, true, true. Forgot about that. Nearly crashing out a car, lapping him needs harsh punishment. Yeah, I agree. I think that needed a harsh punishment as well. I think Gasly should move to one of the teams coming up. Alpine is shit. I don't know. Alpine can be good. Alpine can be good. Are you from New Zealand? I grew up in New Zealand. I'm not in New Zealand at the moment. Rory Hatton, name of the follow. He got overtaken by Stroll. Yeah. I mean, we'll get to Stroll in a second. Anyways, majority of you guys saying 3 on the poll. So somewhat agreeing with me. Next up, we have got Lance Stroll. Vote on the poll. How have we just got on the worst string of drivers in a row? Like, usually when drivers finish at the back, we're like, it's okay, it's just the car. No, not this week. Every driver we've rated so far has just, like, had a poo weekend, whether it's their fault or not. But yeah, give me 1 sec, guys. Sorry. Okay. So Lance Stroll in Q1. Went out in Q1. He got out qualified by Alonso by 2/10. Now again, 2/10 isn't that bad, but 2/10 cost him going out in Q1 while his teammate makes Q2. And then in the race, I think the tough thing about this race is Alonso finished in P7, second best of the rest, great race pace. Lance managed to move up 2 positions with 4 people retiring. And it's just like, what are you doing? He finished 1, 6, 8, 9, 21, 23, 28, 29, 30 seconds behind his teammate. It's just slow, man. He's just so slow. Yeah, look, I'm giving Stroll a 3. You know, he didn't crash. He didn't have any incidents at the end of the day. But he's just nowhere near the pace of Alonso. It's just so bad, isn't it? So, yeah, I'll give him a 3. Why is he still driving? 3. In FP2 and FP3, had all of us stunned being quicker than most of the grid. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing, man. I can't believe when I saw Stroll broke the record for most Q1 exits in history. I mean, how does that bum have a seat? And the thing is, he wasn't even at bad teams. You know, he was at Racing Point. He was at Aston Martin. He's at Aston Martin. He was at Williams during their good era. Like, You know what I mean? Like, he's just bad. He is just bad. I mean, he's not as bad as some people make him out to be. He's just so inconsistent. Anyways, majority of you guys saying 4. To be honest, I think Colapinto did better than him. You might disagree, but I think Colapinto had better race pace and better quality pace than Stroll. So that's why I've rated Colapinto higher. But anyways. Next up, we have got Pierre Gasly. This photo of him is so bad, by the way. Like, I get he wanted to get his hair transplant done before the season started, but now all his fucking photos look so bad. It is so hot in my room right now, guys. I'm dying and the sun's beaming into my eyes and I can't see. That's what happens when you live in the UK, bro. Okay, anyways. I can't wait for next year. Hopefully Stroll will be good. Hopefully Stroll will be good in his 10th season. Wait, what even next year's season is it? His 9th season. No, oh my god, this is actually his 10th season next year. 2017, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's actually his 10th season of Formula 1 next year. Wasn't his first season 2017? Was his first season 2018? Okay, 9th then, 9th. Like, don't you have to be like somewhat like good or consistent, even be inconsistent? Car's so bad this year, no upgrades so far. Oh wait, you're talking about Gasly. It's been 8 years. 2017, that's what I thought. So 10th season. It'll be his 10th season next year. Bruh. You got to remember, if you're working out how many seasons they've done, you don't go 26 minus 9 equals 2017. You got to count the season. He'll be in his 10th season. He's currently in his 9th. Bruh. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Anyways, Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly made it through to Q3. I think he did amazing work. Again, out-qualified his teammate by 4 tenths. But unfortunately made that mistake in qualifying, which meant he couldn't have done any better. In all fairness, he probably wouldn't have done any better anyway, but still making the mistake is not great because what if it did matter? And then in the race, he just lacked a lot of pace. I think, generally, I feel like Colapinto actually had decent race pace in comparison to Gasly. And Colapinto only finished 5 seconds behind Gasly despite starting further down the road. So, yeah, I think overall, Gasly had a pretty poo weekend. But I give Colapinto... I think I gave Colapinto a 4, right? So I think I'm going to give Gasly a 5. I think Gasly did better in quali, but I think maybe slightly better in race pace, but he made the mistake in qualifying. So, yeah, maybe a 5.5. Maybe I'll do a 5.5 for Gasly, but overall, not a great weekend. Pyro Creus, thank you for the follow. By the way, guys, if you are enjoying the stream so far, be sure to follow down below. We do watch long... we do driver ratings every Monday after a race, so we'll be doing the same after... the British Grand Prix. Currently on my way back home from Austria, left 10 hours ago and still 1.45 more hours ago. Ooh. Are you driving back? Damn. Car is so bad this year. No upgrades so far. Maybe for the whole year, it's going to be worse than Sauber last year. Race pace of Alpine is nowhere right now. Yeah, they might actually be with worst car on the grid. It's hard to tell. Adrian Newey coming in. Let's see what happens with Stroll. He needs to do better at some stage. Pops won't be able to save him. Yeah, true. Exactly. Anyways, not much more to say about Gasly. Majority of you guys giving him a 5, so we agree on that. Next up, we have got Isaac Hadjar. Poll is up. What do you guys rate Isaac Hadjar's weekend out of 10? Yeah, Hadjar had a bit of an interesting one. Maybe, honestly, Hadjar's worst weekend of the year so far. He qualified P13. He got out-qualified by 2 tenths by Liam, which is typically, it's the other way around. It's usually Liam missing out on Q3 and being 2 tenths off Hadjar, but instead it was Hadjar was 2 tenths off of Liam. He just couldn't string together his Q2 lap. And then in the race, he managed to finish P12. Now, the thing is, Hadjar was actually doing a really good job on race pace. And then he got floor damage, which wasn't his fault. So... yeah, obviously not a good quali, but it was redeeming himself in the race, then got unlucky. So I think with that said, I'm probably going to give Hadjar maybe like, I'm probably going to give him a 6. If I'm giving Gasly a 5, Gasly had a better qualifying. I think Hadjar did way better in the race. I'm going to give Hadjar a 6. I think he was obviously still weaker than Liam. But Yeah, I think it was a good weekend. It was a good weekend. He went wide and got floor damage. Isn't that his fault? Yeah, true, true. Mare quality, Mare race trying hard to dodge that second Rebel seat. Yeah, he was throwing on purpose. Good point. Good point. Not Oison. Welcome to the stream, dude. Thank you for the follow. 4 for his standards. Everything was average, I would say. 5 is average, and his average is too good. Yeah, but you can't like be like, oh, his average is too good, so he's gonna get lower rating. You just gotta rate him overall. You know what I mean? So I feel like he still had like a 6 weekend. He still had like a 6 performance-wise, I should say. Results close to Gasly. Isaac is in a better car. True, true, true. Maybe I'm being too kind to Hadja here. I don't know what happened to Hadja in quality, but he tried to save his race. Yeah. What's up, best? How's it going, dude? Anyways, we're in the poll there. Majority of you guys saying 5. Maybe I'd go 5.5, but I'll leave it at a 6 for now. If I couldn't all be glad in your picture on my wall, it reminds me that it's not so bad. It's not so bad. All right, next up, we've got Ollie Behrman. Poll is up for Ollie. What do you rate Ollie's weekend out of 10? The one time you start stream dedicated to my time, I am late. That's how it be sometimes. I'm obviously not blaming you or anything like that, but there'll be so many times where people are like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And then you do it, and then they're like, oh, fuck, I couldn't tune in today. And it's like, doesn't matter, does it? Things are always changing. Anyways, Ollie Behrman. So, Ollie in qualifying made it through to Q2, which he outqualified his teammate by 1/10. He did a good job. I don't know if the Haas was really that capable of making Q2 this weekend, but he did, so well done. And then in the race, he managed to get a P11. Now, obviously, with the retirements, that's nothing too crazy. And he got out-race paced by his teammate. But, correct me if I'm wrong, was Ocon on a different strategy? Why did Ocon finish 14 seconds ahead of Behrman? Because to me, it looks like Behrman's not had a bad weekend, but he's been outclassed by his teammate in the race. For Haas, it was good. I love the fact that the ratings look like the bell curve. Wait, the ratings look like a bell curve? Wait, what do you mean? Can't see it all. 6.5 would be good. Showed some decent moves. Did Ocon not one stop? That's what I'm trying to work out. Was Ocon on the correct strategy? Is that why? Not so bad. It's not so bad. Peak in the middle and 2 so only Nando and Liam are on one stop. Haas again being bad in quality and being always perfect in the race. Yeah, they keep doing that this year. Ocon different strategy, had fresher tires to them through. Right, okay. Well, look, Ollie had a better qualifying than Ocon and a decent qualifying for that matter. And his race wasn't bad. It just wasn't as good as his teammates. So I don't know. I feel like maybe a 6. Is that fair? I think, yeah, I guess you guys agree with a 6. What do I give Hadja? I gave Hadja a 6. Maybe either, do I up Ollie to 6.5 or do I drop Hadja down to 5.5? Because I feel like putting them two at the same rating doesn't make sense. So bad. It's not so bad. Same story as normal for the Haas guys. Behrman had a better quality, but Ocon was better quick on the race. Yeah, I think good, and I think 6 is good, and Hadja 5.5. All right, we'll do that then. We're dropping Hadja down to a 5.5. All right, majority of you guys saying a 6. A few people saying a 7 though for Ollie. Okay. All right, next up, we move on to the point finishes. We've got Esteban, Ocon. What do you rate Ocon's weekend out of 10? Get your votes in. One second, I'm trying to check. Okay, I see. Yeah, guys, if you're just tuning on in, you're tuning on in to my driver ratings. Every single Monday after a Grand Prix weekend, we go live on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube to rate drivers. If you're watching on TikTok or YouTube right now, come join us on Twitch. And then you can type in chat to be able to get your votes in on the poll. If you're just tuning into Twitch, all you got to do, type the number in chat for what you want to vote for the driver. Okay, Ocon. So Ocon had a poo qualifying. He qualified P17 out in Q1 by 1/10 over his teammate. But in the race, he one-stopped, I believe, or did a different strategy at least, and worked his way out to P10. Now, obviously, he was lucked But, you know, he did better than Hedger. He did better than Gasly. Well, Hedger had a problem, but did better than Hedger, did better than Gasly, did better than Stroll, did better than Franco, did better than Yuki. Kept himself out of trouble. And he finished only 2 seconds behind the Sauber guys, who, as we'll talk about in a minute, Sauber had a very solid weekend. So for him to only finish 2 seconds behind them is really, really good. So I feel like a solid, maybe like 7.5 actually for Ocon. The fact that he moved up that many positions is very good, but you know, it's a little bit of luck. And maybe if he qualified higher, he would have finished even higher. But yeah, I'd say a solid 7.5 for Ocon from what I don't know. It's hard to rank. I think 7.5 is good. Wasn't he behind Russell before the second stop? Oh, I can't remember. Somewhat average Ocon result weekend. Average. I think Ocon should be a 8.5 or a 9. He would have gone P9, but he got pushed off by Colapinto and Stroll. And without that, I think he gets P9. Yeah, true, actually. Good point. Good point. Is 7.5 too low? Maybe I'm just looking too much at quali. Yeah, maybe his race pace was actually pretty good. Kind of evaluate luck in the race. Yeah, true, true. All right, we'll go 8 then. He had a solid weekend. Very, very solid. I would have liked to have seen what he would have done if everyone finished. I'll go 8. You guys have persuaded me. 8 for Ocon, in my opinion. Lando win 2 more for the lead just to make sure. We'll talk about Lando soon. Where was Russell? We're going in reverse finishing order. So we're up to P10. We'll get to P1 soon. Yeah. All right. Majority of you guys saying 8 on the poll. A lot of people saying 7 as well. So maybe a 7.5 was a fair rating. But yeah, very solid weekend for Ocon. Sorry, very solid result for Ocon. I don't know how he keeps doing this where he gets points in a race that he shouldn't be getting points in. What are you doing? We're doing drive ratings right now, Nishil. All right, next up, we've got Nico Hulkenberg. Oh my God, this man at the moment is on it. He is killing it. All right, Nico started in P20, poo qualifying, right? You cannot. Who gave him a 10? Who gave him a 10? You can't give this man a 10 when he's qualifying P20 and finishing behind his teammate. He got out-qualified by his teammate by 5/10 in qualifying. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did he make a mistake or did he get affected in qualifying? No, there's no one to get affected by. He just fucked up in qualifying, didn't he? Yeah, he got out-qualified by his teammate by 5/10, and Bortoleto made it all the way through to Q3. So terrible qualifying for Nico. But in the race, his race pace was amazing. He worked his way up the grid to finish in P9. He even helped Franco. He even helped Gabby. And yeah, he finished only 5 seconds behind Gabby despite finishing, despite starting 12 positions lower. Yeah, Hulkenberg's had an absolutely insane race. Now, I can't give him a 10, right? Because his performance in qualifying was terrible and he still lost out to his teammate. But I think a solid 8.5 or a 9 out of 10. Like, if we're talking performance-wise, like, again, I know you can't take luck into it, but, like, he wouldn't have finished there if it wasn't for the retirements. So, performance-wise, he still got qualified by his teammate. And, I mean, if it wasn't for him qualifying that low, you know, he could have maybe outraced his teammate. But, yeah, I'm going to say an 8.5. But then I'm thinking, like, a 9. Oh, he just had such good race pace, man. He had such a good race. I'll go 9. I'll go 9. But at the end of the day, that qualifying was terrible. 11 positions gained, at least an 8 with a damn Sauber, by the way. Oh, yeah. In fact, it's a Sauber. I don't think the Sauber's as bad as some people think, though. Keep that in mind. I don't care if he qualified bad, he made up for it. Yeah, true. True, exactly. We'll give him a 9. Very hard to rate. 0 for quali, 10 plus for the race. Somehow made soft, medium work. Wait, did he? I didn't even notice that. Wow. Manico, what does up, dude? On the stream? I think 8.5. The fact we know how good he can be on a Saturday, back of the grid is quite bad for him. Yeah, true. Sauber was definitely the 5th, 6th fastest. Yeah, it's not as bad as people think. Anyways, majority of you guys saying a 9 out of 10 for Nico. I agree. He had a awesome weekend. All right, next up, we have got... It's genuinely shocking how he keeps getting points. Yeah, honestly. We have got Gabby Bortoleto. First points and definitely not last in Formula 1. What do you give Gabby out of 10? Gabby smashed it this weekend, man. Qualifying, out-qualified his teammate by 5/10, made it through to Q3, second best of the rest in a Sauber. He out-qualified Kimi Antonelli. Obviously, Kimi didn't get his lap in, but still out-qualified Gasly, Alonso, Albon, Hadjar, Colapinto, Behrman, Stroll, Ocon, Yuki, Sainz. He did very, very, very well. And then in the race, he did lose out to Alonso. Alonso was on the better strategy. And technically, he lost out to Liam as well because Liam, after the crash, was behind him. And I do think Gabby had the pace to finish in front of Alonso and Liam, but just wasn't able to do it. Also, Sauber left him out for way too long. I don't know why. I don't know why they left him out that long. But, yeah, he finished in P8 and was only 5/10 behind Alonso. Yeah, look, I'm going to give him a 9.5. I'm not giving him a 10. I'll tell you why, right? 10 is reserved for a perfect weekend. And at the end of the day, he could have beaten Alonso, but he let Alonso have the DRS and he lost out. If it wasn't for that, if he had beaten Alonso, I would have given him a 10. But he made that mistake. And also, I guess there's an argument that Hulkenberg's race pace was better. But still, 9.5. He's absolutely smashed it. In a Sauber, getting points. His first points in Formula 1. Yeah, I can't wait to see how the Saubers play out for the rest of the season. They are cooking. Should have finished P6. Not P8, you reckon? I think the V-carb was stronger. It's just more the fact that Gabby got past off the race start. It's more the fact that Gabby got past on the race start that makes you think, oh, maybe he could have. If you got Alonso at the end, it would have been a 10. Yeah, I agree. 9.5 is restored by the night on the stream. I feel like maybe he could have got past Fernando, but had to go wide due to Kimi and Verstappen's crash. 10 is very rare for the perfect weekend. I generally think Hulkenberg had a better race than Bortoleto. Hulk only finished a couple seconds back. Yeah, I agree. Actually, 9.5. Qualifying has to bump him up higher than Nico. Gabby destroyed Hulk this weekend. Nico gets a 9. So what's Bortoleto then? A 10. Gabby didn't destroy Hulk. Hulk had better race pace, I think. He should have beat both Alonso and Lawson, in your opinion. Really? That Sauber was faster than Aston Martin in the race, but their strategy cooked his tires a bit. Yeah, that's what I mean. I blame Sauber more for that than anything. They left him out too long. People think Sauber is a back marker. Hulk also was unlucky to get lapped 2 times by the McLarens. Otherwise, it would have been in front of Bortoleto. Interesting. Yeah, a lot of varied opinions. Okay. Anyways, majority of you guys saying 9 out of 10. I agree. I think 9.5. I think maybe I've bumped him up 0.5 because he's a rookie, but I don't mind. I don't mind. He absolutely smashed it this weekend. Sauber, since their upgrades in Spain, is much better car, and yet good drives by the drivers, but people acting like they're doing miracles now, getting points. No, I agree. You can't act like that's a shock that they got points, especially when 4 drivers retire. But still, great, very good weekend from Gabby. All right, let's move on. Next up, we have got Fernando Alonso. Damn, when I think about it, we're gonna have a lot of good ratings today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, yeah, we're gonna have like 6 really high ratings, I think, at the very least. All right, Fernando Alonso, what a result for him. In qualifying, he qualified P11 while his teammate is down in P16. He out-qualified him by 2/10. Could have Alonso made Q3? Yes. Should he have made Q3? Probably not. I think Alonso's proving how he's putting this green tractor in positions that it shouldn't be. You know, he did get out-qualified by Gasly, Bortoleto, and Lawson, but I think where he qualified is where I'd expect. So I think it was a good qualifying from Alonso. And then in the race, he made the one-stop work along with Liam and finished in P7, and he beat Bortoleto. I think with everything into account, it's not a perfect weekend, right? He didn't beat Liam, and there was maybe an opportunity to beat Liam, but that car also looked poo. And I think the fact that he beat Bortoleto is amazing. So, yeah, I think I'm going to give Alonso a 9. Solid quali. Solid race. Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be I think it's a 9. Part of me is like maybe he should be a 9.5 as well, because like I guess the qualifying brings him down 0.5 because he could have made Q3, and I think 0.5 because he didn't beat Liam and he could have beat Liam, but I don't know. It's one of those things that's just like coulda, woulda, shoulda. That Aston's poo, but he's making it work, and because he's making it work, I think put it this way. If this was the first race of the season and we went in with the knowledge of what we know about Aston, I would say that is a 10 race. But if we went in now knowing how Aston is, it's kind of like, well, he's been doing that consistently, so we should expect that now. Good quality and even better in the race. 9, but I can also say 10 because of the one stop. That's what I mean. It's hard, man. It's hard. I'm going to say 9. I'm going to say 9. Don't think he could have been higher than that with that Aston, to be honest. Yeah. Alonso was on the back of Lawson all race. It would have been a 10 if he made the overtake. Yeah, I agree. I may be biased, but he did a great quali. The thing is, though, I agree. This is the hard thing. He had a great qualifying, but he's been making Q3s. So I guess the argument is, why couldn't he do it again? You know what I mean? I think the Sauber was faster than the Aston. So I would probably personally give Alonso 9.5 and Bullard a 9. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Alonso is also known for putting tractors in positions where they shouldn't be. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to not have biases when it's biases in terms of like rookie versus experienced driver. But I don't know, man. It's hard. It's hard. Anyways, majority of you guys saying a 9, so we agree. Oh fuck. All right. Next up. Best of the rest, my boy, Liam Lawson. What do we rate Liam? Out of 10. I'm so happy, man. I'm so happy. Finally a good weekend. In qualifying, he qualified best of the rest. He out-qualified Hadjar in Q2 by 2/10. And yeah, best of the rest. He out-qualified, well, I think the thing about Liam's qualifying here is it might look better than what it should because of Gasly fucking up. But still, his lap put him ahead of Max, put him ahead of Bortoleto, put him ahead of Antonelli, put him ahead of Gasly. I can't really remember what happened with Liam. Was Liam's banker good, or was that his qualifying? Was that his final lap? Either way, P6. He was only, I mean, he was 2/10 off of Russell, to be fair. But, yeah, smashed it in qualifying. He couldn't have done anything more. And then in the race, he got taken out, as in lost positions off the start. I think he dropped behind Bortoleto, Alonso. Let me just check real quick. Who did he drop behind on the opening laps? He dropped behind. Oh, wow. Oh, my God. He dropped far. He dropped behind Bortoleto, Gasly, and Albon. So he's lost 3 positions. He did stay ahead of Alonso, though. And yeah, he managed to make the one stop work. Yes, the one stop was the better strategy, as we saw with Liam and as we saw with Liam and Alonso. The one stop was the better strategy. But to make a one stop work, I'm gonna gas Liam up, okay? To make a one stop work is really good at a track like that. But not only that, he defended a 2-time champion for 71 laps. 2-time champ, he defended for 71 laps, and he held on to P6. Yeah, obviously, there's the argument that the Aston Martin is slower than him, 100%. But, you know, he managed to outrace the Saubers, who I think were kind of on par. And I honestly look, and I'm not even saying this to be biased. Like, I'm not even saying this to be biased. I can't see anything more that Liam could have done this weekend. He outclassed his teammate in qualifying and the race. He outclassed Fernando Alonso, and he finished best of the rest in both sessions. It is a 10, and you cannot tell me otherwise. If you're not voting 10, you're a hater. If you're not voting 10, you're a hater. Finally, Liam gets it. Welcome to the 10 club, bro. Welcome to the 10 club. Actually, did I give him a 10? I think I gave him a 10 in Singapore 2023. So this might be a second 10. Also, fun fact, right? Fun fact I figured out myself, right? Fun fact I figured out myself. Red Bull's winning streak of 24 race wins or 23 race wins in a season came to an end. And that weekend, Liam out-qualified both Red Bulls. This weekend, Red Bull's points finishing streak of since 2017 came to an end because Liam out-qualified both Red Bulls. I don't know what this Liam curse is, but he ended 2 of Red Bull's biggest and best streaks. Well, he didn't single-handedly do it, but it's just funny that both weekends Liam was the best Red Bull, was the weekend the Red Bull streaks ended. Can you believe Red Bull? Can you believe that stat though? That Red Bull have finished in the points every way. They've had one car. They've gotten points every race, every weekend since 2017. That's crazy. Does that mean that streak will come back? Red Bull should fire Liam. He's a curse to them. Yeah, that's what I'm learning. Anyways, what are you guys saying about Liam? He did not impact the second one. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't him, but it's just funny that the weekend he does it, that they lose that streak. Liam is a 10 before even showing. Aren't you the guy who doesn't give rookie treatment? Right? Yeah, I know, but something. Psycho, what is up, dude? We're on the stream. 10, are you guys nuts? Okay, you're hating. Bro's hating. Best of the rest. Alonso was a 10 for me last race because he was best of the rest. Plus, he outqualified Norris on Leclerc. Not a 10 for me. 10 is reversed for a perfect weekend. Reserved for a perfect win. That was Lando this weekend. Such a good bounce back from Canada. Yeah, but multiple drivers can get 10s. 10, there were 4 DNFs and penalties. But even if you take Max and Kimi out of the equation and he still finishes P8, that's still best of the rest. So just because it's 2 results lower means his performance is different. He still has the same performance though, regardless of the result. They had a flawless drive minus the loss of position to Gasly, Alonso, and Gabby on that one. Well, yeah, and that wasn't even his fault, was it? Fair play, Silverstone is going to be better. I hope Silverstone, man, he cooks again. I hope his performance, his confidence is back. If Liam didn't get the super performance that he did, I really felt that Helmut Marko would have been keen to get him out. Yeah, it was looking dark, man. It was looking dark. Didn't he have damage on the floor as well? Well, that was the thing. People were roasting me, being like, Liam didn't have floor damage, because at the time I reacted saying he got floor damage. Shit flew off his car. So if he didn't have floor damage, I don't know where that damage came from. I'd say 9.5 or 10 for Liam. Let's not forget how Kimi fucked his race up. Yeah, exactly. I actually, to be fair, I think if Liam had finished in this position, I would have given him a 9.5. It's the fact that he came back after that slight setback off the race start is why I'm giving it a 10. Is better than he is better than best of the rest because Sonoda. Rarely see Lawson has great race pace. Normally it's more Hadja. Yeah, I was completely swapped this weekend around. Are we rating Liam so high just because Hadja has been cooking in that other Red Bull seat all races? Wait, what do you mean? I'm confused. Anyways, let's move on from Liam. Majority of you guys saying 10. Oh my god, the hate has stopped. The hate has stopped. Well, I was expecting everyone to give him like a 1 for the trolls. Anyways, let's move on from Liam. Well done. Welcome to the 10 club, man. In Lawson's terms, in the RB, it was a perfect weekend. Yeah, exactly. All right. Next up, George Russell. Very weird weekend for him. What do you rate George Russell out of 10? Guys, if you're just tuning in the stream, welcome. We're doing driver ratings as we move on to the top 5. We do driver ratings every single Monday after a Grand Prix weekend. So if you're enjoying so far, be sure to follow. If you watch it on TikTok or YouTube, come join us on Twitch. That way you can type in chat the rating you want to give. It does not work if you type in Twitch. If you type in TikTok or YouTube chat. So come join us on Twitch. Come give your ratings for these final 5 drivers. And if you're enjoying the stream so far, be sure to follow down below. George was racing this weekend. Yeah, he was very much under the radar. Guys, I'm dying. It's so hot in my room right now. Okay, George Russell qualified P5. He outqualified his teammate by 5 tenths. Obviously, Kimi got his lap fucked up. He was 2 tenths off of Lewis and 8 tenths off of Pole. I think George also got fucked over by the Gasly spin, but I don't know. Either way, Mercedes was off the pace, and I think he qualified where I expected him to be. You know, at least he didn't get outqualified by any of the best of the rest of people, and I'd take that as a W. And then the race, he finished in the exact same position, in P5, nowhere near the Ferraris. Honestly, it was actually scary at one point. Well, not scary for me, but it was scary to think that he might have lost. He could have lost to Liam or Bortoletto. Like, his pace was poo. But yeah, I don't know. It was a poor weekend, but I feel like it was only because of the car. And I think George showed that even though the car was poo, he still put the car where it should be and capitalized on people like Max having a retirement. But there's nothing more he could have done. So I'm going to say 7.5. Yeah, part of me is like, well, he could, you know, why doesn't he get a 10? But, you know, it's just how it be. When you have a poo car that can't battle anyone, he just did the job. He had a good weekend, and that's it. So, yeah. What do you guys think, though? Wait, George was racing this weekend, did well in Canada, and now Austria. Definition of a nothing race wasn't bad, but didn't stand out. Yeah, literally did nothing, exactly. People voting 6, what are you on? I was reminiscent of races where he would do nothing and get a podium, except obviously he didn't get it one this time. Merck was shite in the heat. I know he was only like 5 seconds ahead of Liam, but crazy how a car goes from winning. Yeah, exactly. Well, Toto said today that they tried something different in the setup and it didn't work. So I'm like, what? So what would happen if you did a normal setup then? He was just there this weekend, no threats, nothing, solid 8. I don't think George did anything in this race. He just started and finished. No superb driving. Yeah, but you gotta rate his performance. Like, he didn't do anything wrong. It's just the car's poo. Just the car's poo. 8, there was nothing George could have done. Those temperatures were not suited for the Merc. That Mercedes is the same like Ponden right now in the hot temp. Yeah, honestly, I can't. This might be the quickest driver ratings we've ever done because I'm dying right now and I'm like trying to get through as much as possible. I wish I put Liam on the YouTube thumbnail now. I fucking put Bortoletto. Anyways, majority of you guys saying 7, few people saying 8. All right, next up, we've got his ex-teammate Lewis Hamilton. Poll is up. Let me know in chat what you vote. Lewis Hamilton's weekend. Are you going to Townsend? What the fuck's Townsend? Is that Silverstone? Round and you light on me. Silverstone. I talked about it at the start of the stream. I am not going to Silverstone, but if you want to hear the full 10-minute long answer, I talked about it at the start of today's stream, so have a look at the VOD. Go, man. Oh my god, I just got sent a sponsorship deal. $200 to play Roblox on stream. Anyways. Who are we up to? Lewis Hamilton. All right, Lewis Hamilton. So, Lewis, in qualifying, was only 80 milliseconds, 90, let's just say 1/10. 1/10 behind his teammate, Charles Leclerc. Did Lewis get his lap impeded, or did he finish his lap? I can't remember what happened now. He finished. Okay, so he was 1/10 behind Charles, and I don't think Charles didn't get his lap in, right? Lewis did, but Charles didn't. So Lewis couldn't even beat Charles's banker lap. I think that's what happened, right? Wait, let me go watch the highlights because this is important to the ratings right now. F1. Charles did. Oh, okay. All right, so he's only 1/10 off of Charles. So, yeah, good, solid result from Lewis. I mean, look, Leclerc out-qualified Piastri. Lewis didn't. So, it was a good qualifying from Lewis, but it could have been better. And then in the race, again, for Lewis's standards, solid. When I say standards, his standards in Ferrari at the moment, solid. Only 10 seconds off of Leclerc. But, again, taking that out of the equation, he got qualified by his teammate by a 10th, 2 positions higher, when there's no other competition behind. Like, Mercedes weren't a threat, Red Bull weren't a threat. So, yeah. And he finished 10 seconds behind his teammate on race pace. Look, I think Lewis had a solid weekend, especially for his standards at the moment. But it's still, you know, at the end of the day, he's still getting beaten by his teammate in pace and quality and race pace. So I can't really give him much more than an 8. But still, it's nice to see Lewis kind of finding some form. But then again, it's been one race, so let's just see what happens next week in Silverstone. Yay! Really got fucked over by the strategy call. Yeah, it was dumb to do that for Lewis. I think it's a 7.5 for Lewis. It would be an 8 if he didn't make that random mistake of going wide. I forgot about that. I'd go drown if I did so that's probably good that I don't. 8, because I don't know if he can do better in the future with Max, McLaren, and Charles. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if McLaren and Mercedes... if Mercedes and Red Bull were in the fight, I feel like Lewis didn't show the pace that he would be able to beat them. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I won't rate Lewis because I don't remember anything about him in the race or quality. I think if the driver does nothing, then we should just rate them accordingly. Same average for me as George. If we put the McLaren off the picture and then you see the gap. True. 10 seconds off your teammate. Not the worst, but decent weekend, yeah. We'll go 8 for Lewis. Anyways, the majority of you guys saying 8 as well. All right, we move on to the top 3 now. First up, P3, we've got Charles Leclerc on the podium again. Was the stat that I heard correct? He's gotten 3 podiums in a row. Is that true? 3 podiums in 4 races. Wow. That's crazy to think, considering where Ferrari were at the start of the year. Crazy. Anyways, Charles Leclerc in qualifying. We've basically talked about it already, but out-qualified his teammate by 1/10 and out-qualified Piastri. Obviously, Piastri didn't get a final lap in, but Leclerc capitalized on it when it mattered. And then in the race, only finished 17 seconds behind Piastri, which, when I think about it, that's actually really good. To think the McLarens were pushing full out the whole race. Obviously, they were tangling on each other and losing time, but pushing full out. It wasn't like a let's manage the gap to Ferrari race. It was a let's push full out. And he only finished 17 seconds behind. That's really good. And he finished 10 seconds ahead of his teammate. Yeah, look, we gave Lewis an 8. I've got to give Charles a 9. Like, obviously, you might argue, well, why isn't it a 10 if he did everything perfectly? Like, it's just one of those things, like, he didn't battle anyone. He wasn't racing for anything. The only person he was racing was his teammate. So, it just naturally, you just can't give someone a 10 if they don't have the opportunity to prove themselves. And, yeah, he did everything else. So, it's a solid 9 for Leclerc. I think that's, like, the safest fucking rating of the day. Sup, Chimichanga. How's it going, dude? Maximum what he can do. Couldn't have done anything better. Could he? 10. Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, it's hard. This is what's hard with ratings. It's like, should Leclerc get a 10? Well, no, because he wasn't able to prove himself. He was just by himself. So maybe he could have done better. Maybe he could have done worse. I don't know. Good to finish on the podium. Did what he could, given his situation after Oscar flew past at turn 1. Yeah. Actually, he doesn't deserve a 10 solely off the fact that he lost out to Piastri on the first lap. So, but yeah. Anyways, I'm sticking with a 9 regardless of that. I would honestly give Leclerc a 10 for out-qualifying McLaren. Yeah, but the reason he out-qualified McLaren was because Piastri didn't get a lap in. And he lost position off the race start, you know? Anyways, we're going to end the poll there. Majority of you guys saying 9. We agree. All right. We move on to the top 2. The McLaren boys. What do you rate Oscar Piastri out of 10? Get your votes in. Be sure to come over to the Twitch stream if you want to have a vote in the chat. Brab, thank you for the follow. A23 Shah, thank you for the follow. Alright, Oscar Piastri got out-qualified by his teammate by 6/10. Now, what sucks about this is I don't think Piastri was going to be quicker in qualifying than Lando. But we'll never know. And the Piastri fans will sit here being like, his weekend was fucked because he got fucked by Gasly. But I don't think he was going to get pole. And look at Q1. He was 3/10 slower than Lando. Look at Q2, he's 1/10 slower than Lando. Q3, I don't think he was going to be quicker than Lando. And the thing is, where Lando fumbles the most is by making a mistake. But he didn't make a mistake. So down to pace, I don't think he was going to beat Lando. Anyways, we can't really judge him too much off of qualifying, but his pace looked decent. And then in the race, he got past Leclerc off the start, did a really good job at that. He battled Lando, which was good. His pace looked on par with Lando's for the most part. I'd say if Lando was setting 104 flats, I don't know what times I was saying, but let's say Lando was setting 104 flats. I feel like Piastri was doing like 104.01. You know what I mean? Like, it was only just marginally slower. But yeah, Piastri made that mistake. I get why he went for the move. I don't blame him for it, but he did go for a silly move, which ended up costing him a flat spot and race pace time. It was nice that he clawed back towards the end of the race, but I'd say that's more because Lando got stuck in traffic. And then obviously he got fucked by Colapinto, which isn't his fault. I think for Lando's, for Piastri's expectations / standards in a McLaren, as in, like, Piastri didn't do bad by any means, but, you know, if your teammate's winning a race and you're out-qualifying you and out-racing you, you just naturally are going to get a lower rating. So, I'm probably going to give Oscar a 8. I'm probably going to give Oscar an 8, which, again, it's not an 8 because he did bad. It's an 8 because his teammate did better. So, yeah, and that mistake cost him. I think also... Actually, I'm going to give him an 8.5 because he was really close to Lando's pace. But this is my logic, right? 0.5 off. I'm taking 0.5 off because he was slower than Lando in quali. I'm taking 0.5 off because he was slower than Lando in the race. And I'm taking 0.5 off for making a mistake that cost him time. That's why I'm giving Piastri 8.5. I think if you give Piastri higher than a 8.5, you're taking too much away from what Lando achieved. And I know people were getting mad at me and other people in the Chris video for saying we said domination. The thing was, Lando didn't dominate, but he was, other than one little mistake in the gravel, flawless this weekend and held off Piastri. And, you know, if Piastri is slower in quali and the race, naturally he's, you know, it's a good weekend, but it's not, yeah. Anyways, what am I missing? What are you guys saying in chat? How many Christian, why didn't y'all show interest in Oscar? Yeah. I mean, Christian, you know Christian likes him. Maybe one day. Simon Tubbs, same with the follow. He had a good race with great pace, but some of his overtakes seem a bit desperate. Oscar also was just a 0.1 second faster than an absolute rookie in FP1. Did they make Piastri pit first or Lando pit first when they battled? Lando pit first, and then Piastri went long on flat-spotted tires, which was dumb. Strong driver, this was always Lando's race. Gasly's spinning, Colapinto's antics definitely affected. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, we can't sit here being like, oh, well, if this didn't happen, if Colapinto didn't happen, if Gasly didn't happen. At the end of the day, like, it did happen, and yeah, it is what it is. Do people really think Oscar deserves a 9? He wouldn't have got pole. His banker was slower than Claire and almost took out both cars. Yeah, true. He had battery issues because Piastri was right up his ass. Did you see Lando's DRS malfunction? As I mentioned that before. Yes, I mentioned that in chat before. I didn't see that. I don't get why McLaren left him out longer. Yeah, they should have pit him. As soon as Lando had that bad stop and Piastri had flat spotted tires, they should have pit him straight away to try and capitalize on that. But yeah. Howard off Piastri. You look at the clinics Oscar has put on people. He has one lockup and then that was too risky. They were not even racing. The only thing he could do was put pressure on Lando and make a mistake, and he did that well. They were definitely racing each other, I think, Basilish, but in my opinion, at least. Anyways, majority of you guys are saying a 9. Look, I disagree personally, but I don't know. I don't know how you can be slower in your team than your teammate in qualifying and the race and make a mistake and get a 9. You know what I mean? Like, anyways, that's just my opinion. That's my opinion. I'm still giving an 8.5 though. Oh my god, look how bright it is in my room. Holy fuck. All right, we move on to the #1 spot. Lando Norris. Out of 10, what do you rate him? Type in chat. I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm just going to give him a 10 straight away because he deserves a 10. It was a flawless weekend. I know people are going to be like, yeah, but he didn't dominate, or he made a mistake. Okay, yeah, he made a mistake in the race. That was bad. He almost fucking choked it, but he didn't. And I think the mistake is made up by the fact that he defended Oscar Piastri, who I think is a very high-level driver at the moment. And I think he did a really good job. We finally saw good racecraft from Lando. Anyways, Lando in qualifying, absolutely dominated. Again, it sucks that Gasly spun, but I still think Lando would have put 2-3 tenths on his teammate. Genuinely, I think he would have with the way Q1 and Q2 was playing out. But that's woulda, shoulda, coulda. He got P1 and dominated, and it was by a big margin at the end of the day. And he was very consistent. And then in the race, race start, defended Leclerc well, defended Piastri well. Had to deal with Piastri on his ass with DRS. Now, obviously, there is an argument that Lando should be breezing off into the distance because Piastri should not be able to keep up in his dirty air. But I think the McLaren has proven this year that they're not that bad in dirty air and they're really good at cooling their tires. So, to be honest, I think it's more props to Lando for handling the pressure of Piastri. He defended Piastri amazingly. The switchback was awesome. He almost fucked it by going in the gravel, which was bad. And then, yeah, he defended Piastri for so long. Piastri made a mistake. Lando pit at the same time, at the right time. Again, some people might argue that it was bad that Piastri was able to catch back up, but the only reason Piastri caught back up was because of the traffic. That's not Lando's fault at all. So yeah, I think Lando's had I would say almost perfect. It wasn't perfect. But I think when you're battling your teammate, it's not going to be perfect. And he said that. When you're battling your teammate in a high-pressure scenario, it's not going to be perfect. So I think given the circumstances, it was a perfect weekend for him. So I'm giving Lando a 10. Welcome to the 10 club. Yeah, what are you guys saying, though? Well, not welcome to the 10 club. I think he's gone to 10 already this year. But Chess B Speedy, thank you for the follow. Elliot Marcusson, welcome to the stream. Piastri also made the same mistake as Lando, though. Could not have fucked it a lot. Perfect weekend. But didn't he fumble the race? Had been Oscar didn't be careful while fighting him. I don't think Oscar was careful fighting him, though. Flawless drive. Held the lead from the start to end. Maintained composure with a minor error, but he was quickest every session he drove. Well driven. Every pole that Norris take, this converts to a win, by the way. What was the wing damage he had? Because I couldn't see anything. Yeah, I think it was just maybe it was like visual damage. Didn't do anything. Who knows? Need to Lando Silverstone win. Yeah, it will be. I think Silverstone's gonna have he's gonna have so much pressure, and I can't wait to see if he delivers or crumbles. You can't count Lando's mistake against him and not Oscar's, not you, Ponden, just in general. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I guess my point is Lando's mistake didn't cost him in the end. Like, don't be wrong. I'm usually very harsh. Oh, you made a mistake. 0.5 off. But like Lando's mistake didn't cost him a position. It didn't cost him time. It didn't cost him anything. Piastri's mistake gave him a flat spot and then fucked up his next 4 laps that were meant to be push laps on tires. So it cost him. And I know some people might be like, oh, well, you look at the result, not the you look at the outcome, not the moment. But I guess that's the difference. Is like Lando's mistake, it didn't affect him in the end. So yeah. To be fair, should have won last year. That pressure of Silverstone is huge. Yeah, I can't wait to see how it plays out. And I don't even mean that in like a Haiti way. Like, I can't wait to see how Lando handles the pressure. I just think it's a big storyline coming to this weekend. Lando's in a championship winning car. Well, going to be a championship winning car as a championship contender at his home Grand Prix that he's never won before. He's got his own grandstand. He should win. How is he going to handle it? If he handles it, that's a great story. If he crumbles, that's a great story. And I cannot wait to see how it plays out. But yeah. Anyways, let's wrap up the ratings real quick. Majority of you guys saying a 10 as well, so we agree with that. So, what was the highest rated drivers of the weekend? Lando 10, Liam 10, Gabriel Bortoleto 9.5. Is that the top 3? I think that's the top 3. And then we had Hulkenberg 9, Leclerc 9, Alonso 9. Yeah, so a lot of high ratings this weekend. Yeah, what do we rate Sunny Hayes out of 10, guys? What do we rate Sunny Hayes out of 10? Anyways, guys, that wraps up the driver ratings for today. If you enjoyed, be sure to follow down below. If you're watching on TikTok or YouTube, come join us on Twitch. We're always live on Twitch, so come join us. And obviously ratings, you can actually get your votes in on the poll if you come over to Twitch. So come join us. But yeah, that's going to wrap up the drive ratings for today. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, hit the follow button down below. YouTube, I'll see you guys on Friday for practice 1 and 2 at the Silverstone Grand Prix. Otherwise, come join us on Twitch. We'll be live during the week.